Hey there, Virgo. Let's talk about what 2025 has in store for you. And it's really set to be a year of shift and change and wonderful things trying to come in thanks to these eclipses. Now, these eclipses in the Virgo Pisces axis started at the end of 2023. So you got a little bit of a preview of what these new beginnings and new energy that eclipses bring, what they had in store for you. And the juice of it really starts to happen this year and then moving into 2026 as well. When we have these eclipses that happen in our sign in these 10-year intervals it takes for these to come back into our sign, it really looks to see where things are outdated, things don't work anymore for us. And the universe shows us like billboards at the time of these eclipses that happen in the spring and then again in the fall what it is that needs to change in order for the new to come in. And so this certainly is a year of personal growth, change, fulfillment, all these wonderful things that the universe is showing you. Now, on top of that as well, too, where these eclipses happen every year, the nodes also follow. Now, the true node or the north node is our soul's destiny and the trajectory we need to be heading on this lifetime. Now, the south node is where our karmic debts are. And so the south node is going through your sign now. And as it does, it's clearing out old baggage and debris that you just don't need anymore, whether it's outdated beliefs or literally karmic past wounds that have reemerged. Things like that. As the South Node goes through your sign, it's been 18 years since it's been there. So this is a really big time to clear out the old debris that just isn't working for you anymore. Old habits, especially when it comes to being overly critical of yourself or others. That is that Virgo tendency, right? To analyze and to really look at the fine details. But that can also work against you in terms of looking too much and doing too much analyzation to the point of exhaustion. And maybe you find that that's created stomach issues for you. That's a notorious thing as well with Virgo. When there's too much analyzation that's happening up here, nothing gets digested emotionally and it gets stuck here digestion wise in the stomach. So if you find that to be the case, it's probably because there's too much overthinking, too much analyzation, and too much picking on your own self. You need to take this time to know that the South Node is helping to break those cycles, or at least bring to awareness when those cycles are being triggered in your conscious mind. So, um, that is definitely something wonderful that's going to be happening with you through the remainder of the year. Now, these eclipses happen March 14th, March 29th, September 7th, and September 21st. And with these eclipses and around those time frames, I always say it's like billboards from the universe. It's going to show you maybe where this thinking is not working for you anymore or new ideas, ways of thinking. It's a great time to see what the universe is showing you in terms of the things that aren't working and what needs to change. Now, especially with the March 14th one, that is definitely going to where you're going to let go of the things that aren't working. And then the September 22nd new moon eclipse, this is where you can release things still, obviously, that surface through the remainder of the year. But this is where the seeds that you've planted at the end of 2023, 2024, they come to fruition. So, what is it that you're manifesting? Put that energy in. So, that's pretty much the baseline of things that's happening for Virgo this year. Now we're going to look at your house of money. Now, Neptune and Saturn. That is an interesting little mix here. I tell you what. Now, where do we start? So, these slower moving planets that are out in our solar system, they take quite a long time to go around the sun. For example, Pluto takes 248 years to make a revolution around the sun. Now, Neptune takes 220 years, where we take 365 days. 220 of the Neptune years equals 1 year here for us on good old planet Earth. Now, Saturn takes 30 years to make a revolution around the sun. Now, these slower planets, when they move into a new sign or they move into a house in our chart. Like let's say they're going through the transit wheel and then they land into a new house for you in your personal chart. This is time for major shift and change because it takes so long for these planetary energies to come through. And they have kind of bigger jobs anyway in astrology. And when they come through, they make some big shifts. And so we have Neptune and Saturn both landing in Aries. Now, this is huge because as they do, they're bringing forth a lot of fiery energy for all of us. A lot of our planetary energies that have been out in these slower moving planets, Pluto and Uranus, and such, they've been in earth signs that are very muted, water signs that are very muted. And so it's been working more so on the structures of everything that we know, right? The bones and the structures of things. Fire signs now, like Aries, where these slow moving planets are moving into, that is where it's bringing a lot of energy to act on things. And so for you, these eclipses are working in your eclipses. Why did I say that? This energy is working in one of your financial sectors. It's coming through that eighth house, which is a house of debts. That is the house of shared resources. So this is the money that your partner makes, brings in. These are the debts that you owe, the money that you borrow. Inheritance falls into this category as well too. So as Saturn, let's start with that one. That's the planet of long-term thinking. This is where you are very much focused on long-term savings, the plan to bring down debts. Neptune has the power to dissolve whatever is the house it's in, so it can dissolve those debts as it makes its 14-year trend through there. Saturn takes 2.5 years to go through this eighth house. Really focused on setting you up for that financial future. Opportunities to explore new ways to achieving financial stability also can come through in this time frame as well. You get a preview of what these planets are really going to be doing for you over the next 2.5, 14 years in this year, because this is when the planets dip their toes into Aries. They finally land in there in 2026, but for now they're just kind of going in there and giving you a preview of what it is that they have in store. So keep an eye out for that as well. Now, let's go to the house of home and family. Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in that fourth house of home and family for you this year. So there's going to be a lot of looking to communication styles with our family. That's going to be doubly true with Jupiter moving into Cancer. Now, when Jupiter moves into Cancer, that's a 12-year cycle. Cancer is the sign that deals with home, family, early childhood, parents. And so there's a lot of this energy when Jupiter goes through, it wants to heal where there are cracks and things. And so if there have been communication breakdowns, if there have been misunderstandings with family, if there has been, especially with this being a year of really looking to past beliefs, we talked about that, as well. Jupiter has the ability to heal these things, especially if they're belief systems that are inherited through family, or if it's a genetically generational belief system, trauma, anything like that that is passed down from generation to the next. Jupiter has an ability to heal it as it goes through Cancer. So you kind of have that energy going through it as well, where Mercury retrograde has you looking to past communication styles and where that may need to shift and change, words that need to be said, and Jupiter comes through that is able to facilitate conversations and also heal as well. So that's definitely something big, focusing on communication dynamics within the family. So now let's look at relationship, house of marriage, the house of partnerships. The eclipses that we were talking about earlier, right? They bring new things. We talked more earlier about how it's on the beginning of the first house for you as the Virgo, and it's bringing wonderful new opportunities for you. But on the other side, when we go to the Pisces area, that's what rules your seventh house of marriage, partnerships, relationships, friendships, coworkers, close one-on-one relationships. It falls into this category, like client therapist, those doctor patient, for that kind of situation as well. Anyway, our close one-on-one relationships. These eclipses are working in that 10-year cycle there as well. They're looking to see where maybe you've outgrown some of these energies. It could literally be outgrowing clients of yours. It could be outgrowing um, phases and relationship, and it sees where these things no longer work for you, and it asks for you to surrender and to release them, especially with it being that Piscean energy that rules that. It's ruled by Neptune, and that is a planet that asks us to surrender what no longer works. So as you're working to move forward with the North Node over there, right? The North Node that's going through that, South Node's going through you, clearing out karmic debts. The North Node is trying to get you towards your soul's purpose in relationships, whether that's getting a new relationship, getting the relationship that you're in to be more fitting for where you are at now, in line with whatever it is that you're hoping to shift and change. These eclipses, along with the node, are going to be bringing that through. So, the other aspect of it too is that now that Saturn and Neptune are leaving that seventh house, remember we talked about how they're moving in this gigantic cycle into that house of debts, but right now it's finishing up its last year in this seventh house of yours. Saturn can have a restrictive quality to it. So you may have found it in the past 2.5 years. It's been a lot of work. There's been a lot of realization. There's been a lot of difficulty, maybe some lessons that have been learned in terms of relationship. These are 30-year cycle of lessons that you've come to understanding better how you are how you operate in relationship and how you need them to move forward, right? Saturn's working on that. Saturn also is notorious for bringing through committed relationships. So if you've been looking for somebody, this last year is working towards getting you that committed partnership that's going to set you up for the next 30 years plus, right? But it's solidifying those foundations of what partnership looks like to you. Neptune has been there since 2011, and it's helping you to get clear on what partnership is and removing any delusions or illusions that may be around it. So, as Neptune's been going through there, I'm sure you've probably have some of those you could probably attest to it, right? Neptune has this ability to bring us soulmate relationships. It can bring people that appear to be a dream and then they turn out to be a nightmare on the other side. It can bring through energies of people that are deceptive or manipulative. That's one side of Neptune going through, but it's working to help you to dream and manifest how it is you want marriage and partnership to look. So when you have that and you have Saturn trying to stabilize this energy, you have the ability to really manifest what you want, but have it work for the long term. Manifesting dreams into reality, I guess is the best way of saying it. Now that it's leaving, it's also taking the negative with it too. So that could be the confusion around relationships. That's Neptune. And if you feel like you've been limited or restricted in terms of that with Saturn leaving, that also lets up as well. Now, another cycle that's going to be um, happening is Uranus, the planet of freedom and liberation, with it leaving your 10th house. Now, what that means here is our 10th house is the house of life, purpose, and career. And starting in 2018, this guy started transiting through that 10th house of yours where it's focused on getting you in alignment with a career that's authentic to you. Now, with that can bring a cycle, an 8-year cycle of unpredictability as well. And so, if you have found that there's been a lot of ups and downs with your career, shifts, maybe not feeling like it fits you anymore. As Uranus wraps up its last year in this house, I think a lot of that confusion and unpredictability is also going to be letting up as well. Um, so from July to November, you're going to get a little bit of a preview of what that looks like moving out, right? Because that's when Uranus is going to retrograde and then move back into its sign. So you get a little bit of an idea of what the next 8 years is going to be like um, leaving that area, bringing major changes in terms of the career because they make the biggest impact when they first go in and then again when they leave, And so this is a really big deal for it moving out of Taurus into Gemini and opening that up for you. So now another thing that's going to be happening as well is We have, we were talking about this. The next influence is Uranus moving into your 10th house. Now, this is another big transit that's happening. Uranus takes 80 years to make a revolution around the sun. So it's been 80 years since Uranus has moved into the sign of Gemini. And when it does that, it's going into what's known as your career house, your life purpose house. And so we have this planet of authenticity, the planet that asks us, is where you're at where you're supposed to be? Is it fitting for who you are now, or is it fitting for where you were 10 years ago? And it radically changes and transforms things for us so that we can be in a situation that's more fitting for us. This energy can be very um electric, I guess you could say. It comes through and it really triggers us going, making us feel unsettled, I guess is a better word for it. And you may already feel that energy coming because these slower moving planets, we can feel them coming before they get there. And so you've got this planet of unsettledness coming through your career house. And it's kind of going, I don't know if I really like what I do. I want to do something different. Maybe it's something where you've got this entrepreneurial itch, right? Uranus is that planet that is known as the entrepreneur. So as it moves into there, maybe these side projects that you've been working on or idea that you want to do for your own, being your own boss, is coming to the forefront. And you'll find in the next 8 years, once this guy lands in there next year in 2026, 100% for 8 years, you're going to be completely reinventing the way that career looks. Now, you'll get a preview of what that looks like. Hold on a second. Where do I have that? Um, from July to November, when Uranus dips its toes into Gemini for the first time. You'll get a preview of what's coming, and it'll kind of give you an idea, but it won't really 100% land there until 2026. So now we talked a little bit about Jupiter, how it makes all these major things for family, right? But where is Jupiter going to actually be hitting in the chart for our Virgo friends? Jupiter is going to be moving into your 11th house. So right now, Jupiter is working in that Gemini area of career. So maybe you already have shifted career. Maybe you've already had these opportunities popping up. Uranus is bringing you that ability to have maybe a little more freedom and flexibility over the next 8 years with these opportunities that Jupiter is bringing through to that career house. But where it's moving into and dipping its toes into, um, for a little bit in June, is it's going into the 11th house, and that's about networking you with the right people that are going to help you move forward to whatever these next levels are, that you're trying to level up to. So this is really good for maybe you've done a lot of work in terms of recognizing and realizing, like, hey, I'm over this group of friends. They don't fit me anymore. They don't resonate with me anymore. This is a situation where Jupiter brings in people that do actually resonate with your energy and where you are now. So let's look at moons, because these moon cycles are going to be extra important due to these eclipses this year, right? For all of us. But we can manifest at any moon cycle that we want, release at the moon cycles that we want every month. It's not like we have to do them at specific times. But there are certain ones that are going to work for us just a little bit better than they would any other time. And so you are going to be looking at your Virgo moons. Now, the Virgo new moon eclipse that's going to be happening, the solar eclipse that's going to happen on August 23rd, that is going to be your time frame for manifesting what it is you want, putting your seeds of intention into that moon for what you want, especially when it comes to career, anything, right? Because this is the year of major possibility for you. So that's going to be the new moon. Now, the full moon is on March 14th. That full moon lunar eclipse is where you are going to be releasing anything that's getting in your way. So let's say those outdated belief systems, those thoughts, those inherited belief systems, all of those things, that's going to be a time frame to really put that out there in the universe and say, I don't need this anymore. I'm ready to let it go. That is a great thing right there. Now, let's look at specific birthdays. Now, If your birthday isn't in here, it doesn't mean that wonderful things aren't going to be happening or this that you're left out in the dust somehow. No matter what, with you being the Virgo, you are having a pretty massive year regardless, and you already know because you've started to see things moving. But these are astrologically how things would be working with your sun. If you want to know how your specific chart is going to be impacted, where are these eclipses happening in your specific chart, or where is Jupiter bringing opportunity and luck in your chart, there's a link below. Follow that, and you can set up a Zoom reading with me. We can go over all those aspects. Maybe you're just wanting to kind of dig into astrology a little bit more for yourself. I also have a link down there for my 2025 astrology planner that has an astrology 101 type little book at the beginning. It has daily what the astrological influences are, monthly what to look out for, and it also has those new moon and full moons that are broken down, explaining what each one is, journal prompts, helping you to find ways to really embody the energy and utilize astrology in your daily life. But anyway, whatever. Back to birthdays. If your birthday is August 23rd to August 24th, Uranus out there is squaring your sun. So that planet that's moving into that career house for a little bit, that's the one that wants us being authentic and true to who we are. It is a year with doing away with tradition, exploring new ways of expressing yourself. This is a major, fast paced energy. Remember, I said it's kind of like being electrified. You are feeling it. You are feeling that push, right? Um, the thing that happens is that things will really, really get the ball rolling when you're being the most true to yourself. When you embrace your authenticity and your freedom, you are going to be amazed at how quickly things move forward that may have been stagnated. Absolutely. September 3rd to the 23rd, Jupiter is going to be squaring your sun in the sun, the blah blah. It's going to be squaring your sun in the sky. That's what I meant to say. Now, Jupiter, even when it makes a tough aspect, like a square or an opposition, it's still beneficial because it is the most beneficial planet of all the planets. It is the lucky planet. So, having that planet of luck, making a connection to your sun, is bringing those blessings to you. It's bringing those opportunities to you. You may need to overstretch yourself a little bit this year, but the benefits outweigh that tremendously. There is a major push for you to let go of that self doubt, that self analyzation that we talked about. You're definitely that one this year where you're recognizing those cycles that mentally occur where the rumination happens. Big advances in career for you as well, because remember, Jupiter is finishing up that last leg in that 10th house of purpose. Uranus is kind of triggering things for you to start doing things that really, really you want to do. Huge. This is a huge one for you as it moves forward. September 19th to the 23rd, Neptune's out there opposing your sun. You may feel a little bit confused. You may feel like you're walking through the fog. Neptune has a way of doing that to us. It is notoriously a time for making answers very vague when you're looking for them. And the reason why it's doing that is because it's asking for you to go within and listen to what your internal guidance system is telling you to take for the next steps. So, this is a year of leaning into your spiritual side for the answers that you're looking for. This is a year for recognizing where utilizing your creativity will also help you kind of disconnect from that analytical mind and really channel that energy instead of going into worry into going into creation and making something new, and that may be the inspiration you need to find what those next steps are that you need to take. um yeah, Neptune definitely is showing you that the magic is in the unknown. Just trust the process and surrender to just going with the flow. That is the big thing. Neptune likes for us to surrender. So keep that in mind this year as you're moving forward. It's a massive year. There's so much that's going to be happening, and you're not going to miss the boat. The universe is going to make sure that you get the signs that you need when you need them, and you'll always know which step to take. Just trust yourself and trust the process. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for watching.